have things of value. You have assets. You have savings. You have bank accounts. You have comic book collections. You have things that you can sell at a yard sale. You have stocks and bonds maybe if you've got enough money to be an investor. You've got resources. And if you're gonna be funding your own small business, sometimes you have to put those resources into work for you into your business. And so there are two things that I'm going to caution you if you want to go into business for yourself. If you do not have these two things, I guarantee you that your chance to succeed is really, really slim. Number one is you have to have credit available to you. And number two is you have to have working capital, which is another name for money to use until your business starts to create enough money to pay its own bills. That's the investment that you make. That's the funds that you have to use in your business until the business itself starts to move toward profitability and be able to pull out some money. On one of the pages of the seminar, I call it the proverbial cocktail party, where this couple that owns their own businesses is sitting there talking to somebody, and the person says, "Hey, so how's your business doing?" And they say, "Hey, it's going great. We ought to be able to draw a paycheck in a couple months." Well, that's a failing business, because unless it could be successful if it was in the plan and they've got enough working capital to carry them through those periods of time until it starts producing. But for the most part, the business, and to think like an owner, even if you're an employee, goes like this. The purpose of your business is one thing and one thing only, and that is to support your personal lifestyle, whatever that may be. So when I teach how to go into business for yourself, before I even show you how to succeed at business by doing it the right way and controlling your costs and making sure you get everything set up to actually have your operations be successful and have the right structure and the right employees and so forth, I want you to know this. You do not want to be in business for any other reason than to support your own lifestyle, to help you achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. So you need to be very, very proactive in knowing what you need from your business, because I've been a small business counselor for 45 years plus, and so many small businesses that are failing, they don't know what they need. They just go out there and they just start doing it over and over again every day, but they really don't know why they're doing it, and they got so far into doing it, they're caught up in it, and their business has taken over 20 hours of their day, and they have a basically very, very stressful life, and they don't have enough money. So remember this. If you are going to be in business for yourself, don't do it because you got an ego and you say, "I always wanted to have my own business." Do it because it is a way for you to pay for what it is in life that costs money. It could be your future savings for retirement. It could be college for your kids, plus all the normal things that you deal with in your daily life. So your reason for being in business is not just to say, "I have a business." It's to support and provide the money that you need to pay for what you want to do in life. So thinking like an owner is one of the things I'm trying to tell you. So if you go into a job, and it's a job that's related to the kind of company that you want to start, go in there and learn everything you possibly can and become the world's greatest employee. And then when you think you're ready and you've got enough money saved up to invest in your own business and you've got good enough credit to give you even more, if your idea is good enough, other people might want to back you. Banks might loan you money. And so if you don't have credit and you don't have working capital, if your business doesn't reach what it needs to for you to get that paycheck. Remember this. When you're in business for yourself, you're the one that's responsible. You're supposed to be the last one that gets paid. And if you don't pay your employees before you pay yourself, if there's not enough money, you better pay your employees. You're not going to have them next week or tomorrow. So just remember this. When you go into business for yourself, you need to have enough resources available in the form of savings to provide for your working capital and credit so that you will be able to stay afloat until it happens, because there's two things that happen in business, and this is an absolute fact of life. Generally, the sales that you project that you're going to be bringing in, the revenue to pay all the costs and then all the overheads and other expenses, the revenue that you're going to produce in your business generally comes in slower than what you expected or projected it to be. So, what am I telling you? Is that if you're going to go into this business and you've got certain expenses that you're stuck with, rent, telephone, utilities, other overheads, insurance expense, a payment for a vehicle, employee expenses, or if you're just your own employee and you don't have other employee expenses, but you have all the different costs of your operations, which we'll talk about in detail later. If you don't have the amount of money, income, revenue coming in from the sales or the services that you're selling, something's going to give. You're not going to be able to cover all your bills, and you're not going to be able to bring home the amount of money you need. And those resources that you have in your personal life, remember, page 22 of the seminar, those resources that you have to keep being pumped in to your business in order to keep it operating. Because you know that soon you hope that you're going to turn the corner and start to get to a sales level that you need to be able to cover everything, including paying yourself. So the first step of the personal and business relationship that I'm explaining is, as you go into your business, if your business is not producing enough money, profit, net income, whatever we want to call it, to pull money out to pay you so that you can pay all your own lifestyle bills and expenses, your personal resources will start to be used up and they will diminish. Okay. The second step of the personal and business relationship that you really need to understand, because of the seriousness of going out into business for yourself, if it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, where that might leave you. The second part is your personal budget. So the first part was you got resources, you got assets, you got things of value, and you're having to use them. You're having to use them in order to keep your business going until it gets to a level where it's bringing enough back to you. But now we're talking about the budget. I've been talking about budget for 3 months on this show. The need to have a budget, use a cash flow budget, track what comes in and goes out, the flow of your money, all those things. I've said that the more lead time you have to deal with a situation, the higher the probability of success. I've been teaching budget for a couple months here. But now I'm not teaching budget. I'm going to tell you something about your budget, assuming that you know what a budget is and that you're using one. When your personal resources start to be diminished because you don't have enough income coming in, whether it's from your business that you started or whether it's just because your income that you're making from your job's not enough. If your budget is going to suffer because you don't have enough income coming in, as your budget suffers, you get led into the next thing that's the trap that's out there. The credit world comes at you. And some of the credit that's available to you is very expensive. Very expensive. I gave an example in my first lessons on credit that you could have a dollar balance on a credit card that you didn't know you had, and you get a $35 late charge. because you didn't pay the dollar. Now you owe $36 and it's just wasted money. Go back and listen to the episode on credit because I cover these kind of things. But as your budget gets harder and harder to meet, your credit debt usually goes up. You start using credit to pay for things that you really either can't afford, that you still need, so you have to, like medical bills. Hey, I personally get stuck when I don't have enough income because I got like 14 different sets of medical bills and doctors because of the cancers that I carry. I use credit cards when I have to, and then for a couple months I'm trying to get more income established because I know how to cash flow budget, I know how to look in the future, but that's not today's lesson. All I'm telling you is that if you don't have enough money coming in from your business to pull that paycheck that you need to yourself, your resources get diminished and you have less and less. Your budget gets harder to pay bills on time. Your credit card debt starts to get up, which makes your budget even harder to get your bills paid because more is going toward the credit card charges. And the effect of all that I just said is that your credit worthiness, your ability to secure credit is really reduced and not there. That's the worst part about it. Your credit worthiness becomes very, very diminished. It goes down. So if you're in business and you're depending on your own hard work to run your own business, to pay all your bills, and all of a sudden your income in your business isn't as much as you hoped that it would be, all those things happen in your personal life. So it gets harder and harder to succeed. The second thing that can happen to you in your business that's kind of universal is that your expenses will generally be more than what you thought. There's almost always something that you missed. It's very, very rare to be able to see your expenses be less than what you thought they were going to be. Generally, the reason that this is true is because if you lay out what your expenses are going to be and you list all of them that you can think of, you can look at other business models and financial statements of other businesses or whatever, you'll know what your expenses, the categories of what those expenses are going to be. So you'll lay them out, but the chance that you're going to forget one of them, no, you wrote it down. You know that expense is going to be there, and it may be higher than what you thought. Might not be. But the chance that you might have not thought about some expense that's going to take some money from you, it's always there. There's always generally something else that's going to come up. So with that said, the reason that your money from your business might not be as much as what you hoped it would be to support your lifestyle, that puts pressure on your ability to pay your personal bills and succeed, is because your income in your business generally is slower coming in, and your expenses are more than what you thought. So those two things added together, compounded together, mean that you're going to have less money coming out to pay yourself, and your life's going to get harder. So there's a lot of things you can do to avoid this situation, and one of the ones that I want to suggest to you right now is, it's a question. I've asked it before, but this might be your first time or you might have missed that episode. If you were going to, well, let me ask it the way I always do. Do you like to play Monopoly? Have you ever played Monopoly, the board game where you're going around the board and rolling dice and pass and go and all that good stuff? Sure, we all have. We all love Monopoly. We grew up on it. So the question is this: would you rather lose all of your investment, all of your money in life in a board game like Monopoly or in real life? Yeah, the question's kind of obvious. I don't want to lose any money in real life, so let's just play a game, and if I lose, it doesn't make any difference. Well, here's what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to tell you is simply this. If you go into a business and you haven't planned, like the parable of the sower that I started the show with, if you don't find the good soil to plant in and your roots don't go deep enough, you're probably going to fail. You will